Hello.
Oh, hello. Am I through to Hackney congregation? I hope I'm not calling too late.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, great, thank you. I'm on your website, jw.org. I was given some literature a long time ago. I've
Yeah.
been on the website and I've been reading Enjoy Life Forever. I've just got questions if somebody could help if you're familiar with the book.
Yeah. Well, I can try. I can try to answer your questions. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. Well, lesson 29 puzzles me a lot. What happens when we die? It kind of doesn't deal with any of the scriptures that talk about Christians living on after our death. As spirits or souls, Christians live with Christ. So I'm a bit puzzled about that. For instance, Paul writes in
Can I can I
second.
can I, can I, can I, can I stop you there
Yes,
for a minute?
yes.
Can we be honest? See,
Yeah.
what is your motive for answering the questions?
Well,
Answering these questions.
well, I've been going through your book, Enjoy Life Forever, and it's really interesting, and I've learnt a lot from it. But when I went to church many years ago, I don't go now, but I went to a Baptist and Pentecostal church many years ago.
Yeah.
They talked about Christians being absent from the body and present with the Lord, 2 Corinthians 5:8. So I had always assumed that when a Christian dies, their body goes into the ground, but their soul or spirit goes to be with Christ, absent from the body, present with the Lord. And, there's no explanation of this verse, or it doesn't address it. I'm kind of. Could you help?
Let me find the
Yeah.
chapter. 1 second.
Yes. Thank you. It's lesson 29.
Do you actually live in Hackney, or you?
I used to live quite near to Hackney, south of Hackney, just north of Canary Wharf. But that was quite some time ago. Um, yeah, I've got the Bible here.
See, obviously, this is one chapter that's not going to deal with every scripture that relates to death in
Hmm.
the Bible. But see, what this chapter seeks to do is to explain it very simply what happened, because it's in the title. What happens when we die? Now, it's true, but most who attend the church feel that they have an immortal soul, that when they die, they go to heaven, or if you're wicked, you go to hell. Is the common belief. But as Jehovah's Witnesses, we don't believe in those doctrines, because when you actually trace the actual origins of that doctrine, even though you might quote scripture, you can trace the origins to the apostasy that happened to Christianity, and a lot of the ideas that Greek philosophy had was implemented into the corrupted Christianity, and that's why we don't. So we've actually got into researching what the Bible really says.
Yes.
For example, in Ecclesiastes.
So you would be an expert in Greek philosophy, and you'd be able to explain why.
Of course not. But
Oh,
we do have brothers who have studied Greek and
oh,
Hebrew.
brother Let. I've seen him on JW Broadcasting. He's my favourite.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a wonderful brother. I've been listening to JW Broadcasting quite a lot, and I always look forward to Brother Let. Um,
Yeah.
Absent from the body, present with the Lord, 2 Corinthians 5:8. Doesn't that mean that when a person dies, a Christian dies? I'll read it. This is New King James. We are confident, yes, well pleased, rather, to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. So I'm kind of puzzled. Wouldn't this be saying that the point of a person's death, their physical body, goes into the grave, but some aspect of them, some part of them, normally they're called their soul or spirit, is present with the Lord?
Well, no, I don't dispute that, because again, you can look at the context. Who was Paul talking to? Well, back in the past, back in the birth of the Christianity, Paul was talking to those who would become anointed. They would have the heavenly hope.
But only from 1914. Your book says only from
Well, no,
1914. So they would cease to exist at the moment of their death, the book says, and only in 1914 would they be resurrected as non-human spirit creatures. I mean, have I got that right?
yes.
Right. So,
Because we believe that in 1914 was the kingdom's birth, because it all centers around what Jesus spoke about in the Lord's Prayer about God's kingdom. Now, when you think about the kingdom, if you think about even this country, the United Kingdom, you have a select group of ministers that rule, and the rest of the citizens they rule over, isn't it? So God's kingdom is the same. That when God's kingdom rules, you'll have ones who will go to heaven, will serve with Christ in that kingdom, but the rest of mankind will be subjects to that kingdom. But would live forever.
Yes, but you believe the ones who are going to go to heaven are resurrected as non-human spirit creatures in the year 1914.
Yeah.
Right. So from about AD 30 until 1913, when the anointed Jehovah's Witnesses die, you teach that they cease to exist like the great crowd ceased to exist.
No.
No? Okay, have I got that wrong?
They don't. I mean, if they become spirit creatures, they do exist, don't they?
Yes, but they only resurrected the spirit creatures, your literature says, in the year 1914. That's when the kingdom is inaugurated.
Onwards, not just in that year. I mean, obviously.
Yes. Okay, so I'm discussing the years between AD 30 and 1913.
Yeah.
Up until 1913, could I just please make my point? So up until 1913, you believe that everyone, when they die, they cease to exist. But that in the year 1914, there'll be a recreation, you call it a resurrection, but I think it's more of a recreation from Jehovah's memory of the anointed who will be recreated as non-human spirit creatures from Jehovah's memory in the year 1914. Is that right?
Yeah, because that's what Paul says, that those who died in the first century had fallen asleep in death. So they were in a sleep-like state in the sense.
Well, read the verse. Read the verse to me. I'm happy to be, I'm happy to learn, but you mustn't paraphrase the Bible. You must actually read it.
Yeah, okay, no worries. If you can find it.
Sleep is used in Scripture as a synonym of death. It's not to be taken literally. It's not saying that, when they're in the coffin, in the grave, they're actually asleep.
No, I don't mean that, but it's obviously in a spiritual sense they're asleep, isn't it? No.
Well, what do you mean by in a spiritual sense they're asleep? It means they're dead.
Yeah, they're dead.
They're dead. Okay, and you believe.
What I'm saying is that
right.
The Bible likens sleep to a death.
Yes, but it's not to be taken literally. They're not in a coffin snoring away and having dreams of.
No, it's a spiritual. That's what I'm saying. It's a spiritual sense. It's not literal, but they.
Well, death is literal. I think we will find out that death is literal. Paul also writes in Philippians 1:21, to die is gain.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to end the conversation because I don't think we're going to get anywhere, really.
Oh, why is that? I mean, please, if I'm doing something wrong, tell me.
No, thank you. Thank you for calling. I'll end the conversation.
You seem frightened.
No, I'm not frightened.
Are you shaking? You're a shaking brother. You're a shaking in those boots.
Goodbye.
Turn on JW Broadcasting. Listen to Brother Let. Brother Let will give you the answer. Brother Let is going to encourage you. I love Brother Let. Brother Let here, the circus clown on JW Broadcasting. Well, I wasn't able to go to Philippians 1. For to me, to live is Christ and to die is gain. Now, how can death be gain if you cease to exist when you die? Do you notice they immediately shift the context away from the first century? Philippians was written about AD 60. They ignore the context and they start talking today in the year 2025. Isn't what I'm talking about. When Paul is writing in Philippians 1, Verse 21, for me to live is Christ and to die is gain. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that everyone who dies ceases to exist at that time. Because the resurrection, which will be only for the anointed resurrection, the resurrection of the anointed, happens in 1914, and the resurrection for the great crowd to the paradise earth happens later. How can death be gain if you cease to exist? They don't even try to answer questions, do they? They don't even attempt to answer questions. And go 2 verses later, for I am hard pressed between the two, having a desire to depart and be with Christ, which is far better. He says he wants to depart and be with Christ. Yeah, but according to Jehovah's Witnesses, this will be in the year 1914, some, 1850 roughly years later. But it's written in the present tense. He wants to depart and be with Christ at that very moment, you see. So it's very frustrating talking to the Jehovah's, because Jehovah's Witnesses don't really know what they're talking about. Their faith really is in Brother Laird and the governing body, these men who look like circus clowns. And their teachings are really very, very funny. They the sort of thing that... if you didn't have any custard pies for the circus ring, you could get Brother Let there just telling people what they believe about people being changed into non-human spirit creatures. I would be laughing away in the front row. Honestly, you wouldn't need a custard pie to entertain me. Just have Brother Let teaching us JW broadcasting, and I would be laughing away.